This week on Engage the Sage.
So what had happened is I said, all right, I know my stuff. Now I've got to walk into a classroom. What am I going to do? So I said, all right, whatever I'm doing, I'm going to do with the cops a 4-year-old wearing a Batman t-shirt. And these are a picture of my kids for an illustration. So what happened?
Hi, I'm Don Saucier. Welcome to this week's episode of Engage the Sage. This week, we're going to share with you a presentation that I gave on our concept of using peace as a foundation for your teaching persona at a recent teaching conference. The presentation was about 12 minutes long, and what we're going to do during the presentation is we're going to use the text underneath to give you some ideas of things I tried to do in the talk and things maybe I didn't do quite as well in the talk. Whenever I teach and whenever I present, I try to look back and think about how I could have maximized my performance, things that I did well, and things that I can improve. So what we're going to do in that text underneath the presentation is give you some insight into the kind of critiques I give myself in teaching and in presenting. The presentation is about 12 minutes long, and you're going to get to learn how to give peace a chance.
How is everyone? Good. I'm always honored to be part of this pre-conference because this means that after my first day of SBSB, I've already gotten enough to take home. So thank you so much for sharing everything, and I've loved sitting in this room today and learning from you. Today we'll be talking to you about giving peace a chance, a model for crafting teacher personas, and I will be talking about an idea and a concept that my collaborator Tucker Jones and I have worked on. Your teaching persona is how you decide to present yourself to your students. And I think it's something that is underlooked when we're thinking about teaching, or at least I know it was underlooked when I started to teach. I don't know about you, but I was not trained to teach. So what had happened is I said, all right, I know my stuff. Now I've got to walk into a classroom. What am I going to do? So I said, all right, whatever I'm doing, I'm going to do with the cops a 4-year-old wearing a Batman t-shirt. And these are a picture of my kids for an illustration. So what happened is I spent a lot of time learning my stuff and a lot of time pretending like I knew what I was talking about. And it wasn't until later that I determined that there was probably a better way to do this. And by the way, the reason I have Dave Matthews up there is because if you were to see me in my graduate school days getting ready to teach, you would see me wandering the hallways, going up and down flights of stairs with my Walkman on, if any of you remember this, listening to Ants Marching by Dave Matthews. This is my Pump Up to Teach song. So it wasn't until later that I realized that we could do more than just learn our stuff, get excited, and hope for the best. So your teacher persona, this is who you want to be in the classroom. This is the characteristics you're going to highlight. And this is even more important. These are the behaviors you're going to omit that demonstrate those aspects of your teaching persona. And the reason that it's important that we have this is our persona and our philosophy are going to promote student learning and success. And I'll stop right there to say that if your teaching persona and philosophy do not have as the core goal to promote student success, you should not be in the classroom. All right? So this is what we do. It is the best thing we do. I say this as a full professor at a research institution. Teaching is the best thing we do. And if you don't embrace that, probably not a good career move for you. But it's also going to demonstrate ourselves authentically as a teacher, and our personas and our philosophy are intentional and dynamic. They can evolve, they can change. Once we've decided what they are, they have to be clearly connected to our practices. Who we see ourselves as being as teachers, and who we show as teachers to our students, and the philosophies about our practices have to show up in our course structure and organization, and our course assignments, and our student learning outcomes, and even how we set up the first day of our class. So I wanted to think about how to do this. I want to create a model for myself so that I can learn to be a better teacher and to be a better teacher for my student success. But I also wanted to lead professional development efforts because one of the things about academia, and some of you may have heard this before, is that academia is a pie-eating contest where the prize is more pie. So what happens is, while I am also a full professor of psychological sciences at Kansas State University, which is a Research 1, I've also recently taken on a quote-unquote half-time position as the Faculty Associate Director for our Teaching and Learning Center. And this is my team. And one of the things that I am charged with in that position is helping my colleagues learn to be teachers. The first talk I was asked to give was, how do you create a teaching persona? So I found I had some work to do. So I started by looking back at the wonderful teachers that I've had in my career. I have high school teachers on this, college teachers, graduate school teachers, and I tried to find out what I liked about them. And then I went to students and I said, what do you want of your teachers? And this is a word cloud of the things that they told us in this study. About 355 general psychology students are represented here. And what do they want? They want people who are understanding and caring. So when I was walking up and down the hallways with my Walkman on listening to dance marching, I was practicing my content. I wasn't practicing showing them that I cared. And when we asked students their least and their most favorite and least favorite college teachers, you can see in the purple font over here, their most favorite college teachers, how do they describe it? We got fun, we got funny, we got energetic, we got interesting, right? Over there in the black text, we have their least favorite, and we see far and away above anything else we see boring. I wasn't practicing being fun and not boring. I was practicing being knowledgeable. So one of the things we wondered is, okay, well, let me ask for people who do this well. So we did a survey on excellent teachers. So we contacted award-winning teachers at my university, and we said, hey, we got the survey on teaching. We sent them one email and one reminder, no compensation, and we got 61% agreement to do the survey. So this is amazing. And they describe themselves as teachers. Now what pops up? Knowledgeable. Now, interestingly, they said they were knowledgeable, but they said other things actually more. It's just that there's really only one way to say knowledgeable. There are other things that showed up more. So I took their data, I took the student data, and I developed a model as a starting point. And my starting point here, is that we should bring peace to the classroom. Now, peace was chosen for two reasons. Number one, I think the classroom is the oasis. I've already said a couple times, teaching is the best thing we do. This gets me away from the awful reviewers who savaged my manuscript. It gets me away from the budget crises, enrollment concerns, cranky kids at home. It gets me away from all of those things. So going in there, that's a peaceful place. But peace is also an acronym. In the stuff that we went through, we decided that there are 5 things foundational that should create all of our teaching personas as a starting point that we can then optimize and adapt for us as individuals. So this is the acronym. First of all, we should bring preparation. We should be ready to go. If we're not, we shouldn't be teaching. Number 2, we should bring expertise. We should know what we're talking about. Number 3, we should bring authenticity. And we'll talk more about these as we kind of go through. C, we should bring caring. And E, we should bring engagement. I think that this is the foundation of our teaching personas. We can add, but I think these are 5 that are necessary for us to be effective in promoting the student learning and success in our classrooms. I think we need these 5 things. So I asked my students, do you think we need these 5 things? So these were the operational definitions that we gave for them. We had about 140 general psych students, and we said, hey, do you want these in your teachers? So we said, how important is it for your college teachers to demonstrate each of these 5? And they said, yes. and that's not surprising. We said 5 good things. You want your teachers to be these 5 good things, and they said, yes, good things are good. That's not surprising. We also asked them which one's most important. So what we have here is the percentages to which they picked of these 5, which one is most important. And you'll notice that one wins. What wins? Caring. What's second? Engagement. Preparation is last. Now, I don't take that to mean that they don't want us to be prepared. I think they're giving us that one. I'm thinking they're saying that if we come to class, we better know what's going to happen in that day. But where we have some work to do is with caring and engagement. And what leads me to say that is also these data that said the percentage of your classes, how often your college teachers demonstrate these kinds of things. And it looks like we do a pretty good job in preparation and expertise, but then a less good but still a good job on authenticity, caring, and engagement. So it looks like those are the 3 areas that I would promote in professional development efforts to get us where our students want us to be. Now, beyond peace, because we said there is the possibility that I was not intuitive enough, even with the data collection that we had, that I missed some stuff. So I said, what else did we miss? So the vast majority of responses, still peace. You know, they said knowledgeable, which I would say is expertise. They said helpful, which I would call caring. Passionate, I would probably call engaged. And merciful, I'd probably call the opposite of caring, or maybe caring. I don't know. Merciful is weird. But then there are other themes that I think are individually peace. So we have things like fun and funny, unique, creative, happy, and chill. The issue with these is I see these as manifestations of either authenticity, which is who you genuinely are, or engagement, which is how you decide to show that your information is valuable and important. If you are not funny, you should probably not try to be. Right? Their students are not. If you are not chill, and I am not chill, I'm not going to come in and appear chill. That would go against me being an authentic demonstration of my own teaching persona. But I think that these are ways that some of us can demonstrate our authenticity and our caringness. So after developing this model, we started to use it. We teach a Principles of College Teaching graduate course. Tucker and I teach this, where we actually teach people to be college instructors. And we use this in the first week of our class in developing our teaching persona. We also do this in the Psych Sciences Teaching Apprenticeship Program, where we oversee our graduate students teaching small sections of general psychology. But we also use this in our TLC, that stands for Teaching and Learning Center, but you can kind of see the wordplay we're going for there in our professional development series. Our next steps, how do you behaviorally manifest these? Because it's not enough for you to care, you have to show your students that you care. And in the interest of time, I'm going to point you to some other resources that we have here. My students and I manage an Engage the Stage YouTube channel where we put out 25 videos so far that tell you how to do things like show your students that you care. All of these videos are 10 minutes or less, and they give classroom clips and advice about how to pull these things off. We also want to examine the relationship with student learning, because if these aren't connected there, then we've got an issue. So an implied piece to your class, show your students' piece. Show them that you're prepared. Tell them what you did to get ready. Show them what you know. Be authentic. And I think part of being authentic is sharing with them the difficulties we had in learning the content. Being human, right? Caring with them and understanding that our class is not the only thing that is affecting them in their lives, and being engaged. My teaching philosophy is something that I call trickle-down engagement. I think if you engage the stage, you engage the person in front of the room, you engage the students, and they learn more. And we have data to suggest this. If you do those things and show your students you're doing these things, I think they're going to learn better. And in particular, show your students what they do not automatically or stereotypically expect. And what I mean here is they expect us to be in their way often. They expect us to be the adversary to their success. Dispel that. We are there to promote that success. Tell them that, and tell them that often, especially when you're giving assignments. Tell them why they're doing it, what you expect them to learn from it, and how it is that you doing it gives them the learning that they wanted you to provide. I think if you do these things, the value of peace is we have a general foundation for crafting teacher personas. It's not comprehensive. There may be things that you want to add to this foundation. And it allows for that customization or personalization. I think if you do this, and you treat that classroom as the oasis, and you bring peace for your students, it's going to optimize both your students and your experience. And I think our experience counts for something. So in reality, in summation, all I'm saying is give peace to students. Thank you. If any of you want this presentation, please send me an email. I'm happy to do that. There's a link to a piece that I wrote on Peace that you see right there. And I will remind you that our YouTube channel, Engage the Stage, has lots of tips and tricks about how to do these kinds of things in your classrooms. But it was an honor to share space with you today. I love talking about this stuff. If anyone want to find me after, shoot me an email. It's what I do. I love it. So thank you very much.
It's really fun to present on teaching, and I hope that you enjoyed the presentation that I gave as much as I enjoyed giving it. In the comments below, I would love to see your recommendations for how to give excellent teaching talks. In the comments below, I would also love to see you critique the talk. Tell me things you like that I did, and tell me things that I can improve. Thank you for joining us for this episode of Engage the Sage. Please like, subscribe, sign up for notifications, and share us on social media. We'll see you next time.